Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is actually my first video, and I'm just gonna be talking about my build and what I plan on doing with it. And just to get into it, this is a 1999 Honda Prelude, and it's been my daily drive for the past couple years, and you know, it's done me good up to this point, which brings me to what I'm gonna be doing with this car. So what happened is this transmission blew out. This is an automatic, and I'm going to be swapping in this 5-speed, which I'll show over here. So it's going to be a cool project, swapping this 5-speed. This is a M2 S4 out of a 4th gen Prelude, even though I took this out of another 5th gen. So I have a donor car that I bought. It's the same car, it's silver, and I bought it. The guy who had it, he snapped the crank bolt inside of the engine. I don't know if it was tightening or loosening, so that happened, and he couldn't get it running, or just couldn't get the bolt out so he could drive it. So I bought it from him for a good, really good price, and I might throw in a picture of what it looks like and some progress we made on it, because I already took the engine out of that and the transmission, so that car is completely stripped now. But which actually brings me to another project, which is that build. So I've been tearing down that motor, which is another H22, same, you know, out of the same car, and I'm gonna be building that. So that's another, you know, project and series that's gonna be on this channel. I'm gonna first get into this tranny swap, swap this to a 5-speed, and then you know, I'm gonna hopefully enjoy that for a while, because this engine runs super good. I mean, this is the original engine, has 190,000 miles, but it runs like a champ. I compression tested it, it tested perfect, so I'm super happy how this performs. This is actually bone stock. Let me get into it. It's bone stock besides a balance shaft delete. So, you know, it probably runs a little bit more juice in it than a stock H22. A little bit more responsive, a little bit more shaky too, if you know anything about balance shaft. Either way, so what we're talking about is this. It's stock. I cleaned it up so it at least looks good in here. But yep, this is my bay. So I actually have this AM V2 up there, and I'm actually gonna be throwing it on this car, and it should be super cool, because if you can see, that will go super deep into my wheel well. So it's gonna be a true cold air, and hopefully, you know, that should be a really fun experience, is to drive on that. It's gonna have that, and it's gonna be a 5-speed, so it's just gonna be a super crazy difference than what it is right now. It's funny, I actually blew this transmission out racing a Civic Si. I think it was like 2015. It was super new, but I know it's the ones with K in it. And okay, so I did beat him, but he was slacking on the line. Like, he definitely bogged out, but he kept in it. So, you know, I'd call it a race just because he kept in it, and I did beat him. He just never caught up. He stayed, you know, behind my rear bumper. You know, he was close, but he never passed my rear bumper. So definitely beat him, but I wouldn't call it a straight win, because I mean, that was the only time I raced him. If I raced him from a roll or even just a better dig, you know, he would probably beat me. And you know, because his was definitely he had exhaust intake, so his is definitely modded. But it just shows that you can't sleep on, you know, the H series. I mean, you know, this is a powerful son of a bitch when you compare it to other Honda motors. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And the transmission out of the 4th gen, you know, the gears are pretty similar to what would come on a regular manual 5th gen, but 1st and 2nd are actually just a little bit shorter. So it should be interesting. I would love to race another 5th gen Prelude with a manual, just to see if that 1st and 2nd gear actually makes a difference. But But yeah, it should be super fun. You know, it's funny. Let me pop my trunk. I actually have, I mean, the whole swap is basically here. I have a bunch of parts ordered in my room, like the clutch and everything, but it's funny because I transported that transmission. It used to be in here. I took it out. And here's the shift cables. I mean, the starter. My whole swap is basically in here. There's the shifter, everything. I have all the bolts in separate bags. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I think I have a picture of me transporting my swap in the car I'm swapping with. It was pretty funny. But yeah, guys, here's my build. I'm excited to actually, you know, tear more into and start building the other H motor, because I would love to build that just so I have, you know, like peace of mind when it comes to this. If it, you know, if anything happens to this motor, I'll have a spare one. I can literally just drop in here. I mean, it's out of the same car, all the sensors are the same. You know, it'll be a lot easier than swapping in JDM one, which those are, you know, those are drop-in too, but you know, with the JDM one, a lot of those have a what is it called, a, you know, an internal coil in their distributor, so it doesn't take a lot of wiring, but you have to just wire that in and stuff. I know some of them, because a lot of those JDM ones don't have a crank sensor actually on their crank, because the internal, you know, that's where the sensor is internal in here in the distributor. So a lot of those don't have that sensor, so you have to wire that in. You know, what would usually go to the crank sensor, you have to wire that in to that sensor. So so it's not that hard. It's still a drop-in motor, but you just have to do little stuff. I know a lot of people say they swap the oil pumps from something like this onto the JDM ones, so it can just run a crank sensor like regular. But yeah, so the other motor is an A4, H22 A4. Out of the same car, it's stock now, but the cylinders look super good. All the crank, all the journals, all the bearing, like everything looks super clean. I might throw in some pictures. I even have a video, but yeah, everything looks so good. It's such a good place to start off at, because that bottom end is just perfect. The head got fucked up. I don't know what happened with the head on the other car on that motor, but those cams they're fucking done. I mean, there's no saving those cams. I didn't take a picture of the cams. I know I have a picture of the rocker arms. And if you know anything about how rocker arms should look, it should not look like that. I mean, it's a whole flat spot, and that's just horrible. So I have another head that I'll probably be swapping those into that head. So that should be fun. That motor build is gonna be super fun. I really can't wait to get into that, because I definitely want to upgrade stuff. I want to put, you know, like a piston rod setup, but I'm still just indecisive about the FRM sleeves, because I mean, I would love to keep it simple and just keep the sleeves, but you know, there's just so much into those FRM sleeves. Like, I can't, because I really want to upgrade the piston. I just don't want any problems. So I know that if I sleeve it, you know, with some iron sleeves, I won't have problems with choosing pistons. But you know, yeah, I might go that route. You know, I mean, sleeves aren't that expensive when you consider, you know, how much it helps your car. I mean, you can buy the sleeves themselves for $300 to $400. I haven't looked into how much it costs to install sleeves, but it's not that bad. I'll just sleeve it just for ease of mind. Just you know, throw in some forged rods and pistons. You know, hopefully you don't have any piston trouble, and that should eliminate it. So, you know, hopefully this should be ripping real soon. Speaking of ripping, I actually just was ripping this the other day. Transmission's still blown. And when I say blown, I just don't have second or third gear anymore. And I know it's not just a solenoid or something, because like it'll go into the gears and just slip. Like you could stomp on it and then the RPMs would raise, but your car doesn't really go anywhere. but it kind of picks up speed. So I know it's somewhat in the gear, it's just fucked up. I mean, when that last race at the SI, I kind of felt it shred those gears. But either way, I ripped it because I do have first gear. I'm gonna throw that video in. Keep in mind, that was my reaction to the first time getting super reckless with this. Because I mean, I've taken this to a drag strip and I've done burnouts, but I've never done something like that on dry pavement on the street, so it was pretty fun. Speaking of drag racing, so I do like to do a little bit of everything with this car. I like to drag race it, rip some back roads, and take it to shows and stuff. So, you know, I like to do everything in this car. Hopefully a lot of people are interested in, you know, what I plan on doing with it. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So sadly, the stock quarter mile time on this is pretty ass, which is something I'm really looking forward to, seeing how much a difference that transmission is gonna make this. So this with the automatic consistently ran a 16.4, and that's pretty fucking slow for a H car. You know, the automatics definitely is what held it back. I mean, you know, if anybody's driven an automatic one of these and the manual one, they would know that it's just a dog. Like, those gears really hold it back from accelerating like it should. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm definitely expecting. I want a whole second off with that transmission. I'm hoping it's a whole second. Hopefully I can get a 15.4, or, you know, I'll be happy in general once it's in the 15s, but, you know, if it's any slower than that, I'll be pretty upset. But yeah, that intake should help too. That'll be interesting how it drives. And hopefully nothing breaks, because I do have a stock clutch for it that I bought. It's Exity. I bought it from Exity. It's OEM, but hopefully it should take somewhat of a beating. I did buy a Honda OEM throwout bearing, so the bearing should be super solid, because I've heard a lot of complaints about clutch companies' bearings, especially over time and stuff. So I just went ahead and bought the OEM one just for ease of mind. And I mean, it doesn't really get better than OEM when it comes to parts like that. So yeah, but yeah, it should be fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this video isn't too long. It's already 12.5 minutes, but yeah, hopefully you guys like the build, what I'm gonna do. See the engine build too. That should be really fun. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.